So, apparently, they're rebooting X-Men. Now, I said X-Men was my favorite out of the whole superhero genre, even though it's owned by Marvel, because it put it a twist. It put a twist on heroes, right? And I mean, they're kind of like Jedi, like the Jedi Academy, where the goal of this Xavier School of Mutants is to, like, yeah, you have powers, but the point is to use them for good, because human beings being human beings is you have power, and I think inevitably, at least for the most part, you'll fall to the dark side, because I mean it's just human nature at that point. But and again, it wrestled with these philosophical arguments within, like, you have Xavier versus what's the guy that commands metal. It's been a while. I was about to say Doc Ock. Yeah, you have Xavier's point of view versus the other guy. And I think the other guy, he was Jewish, and his whole family's and he survived the Holocaust. So let it be known that he has a completely different mindset on humans than, say, Xavier, who, yeah, believes that they're capable of evil, but they're just as equally capable to do good. And I think it's these philosophical arguments plus the action, the characters, the story, the creative vision that really comes together to make the X-Men the X-Men. But again, Disney Plus, I don't know. I can't say I'm much of a fan of Disney as a whole. And I don't much care for Disney Plus either. I mean, anything that ends up on Disney Plus, you can search the high seas, wink wink, to use. So why would you pay $9.99 for something you can get by sailing the high seas? But anyway, let's watch the trailer.
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your listings.
I'm grateful to have the chance to say goodbye. I am proud of you all, my X-Men.
Fate lies in our hands now.
So, it shows the end of the X-Men series, which, it was sad, but also portrayed hope for the future. And as you're about to see, that's somewhat dashed, but let's get into it.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
No matter how dark it is, we must believe in each other.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, Bob, keep buzzing in my ear.
Yeah, it's just in March. That's right around the corner. I don't know when this trailer came out. Hold up. February 15th, yeah.
Heads up!
To me, my X-Men.
Magneto. That's the name of the metal controlling guy. Magneto. Yeah, I just remembered. Yeah.
Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier. Everything he built now belongs to me.
Okay, so they're doing a bit of a twist on the story, which is fine. Again, I don't...
Now, of Charles
don't know who that is. Why the fuck is she pregnant? Well, I know why she's pregnant, but... where's Mystique? Man, Mystique was my waifu back then. I don't know if they'll ever bring her back, because, well... Didn't she die in one of the movies? I don't know, I need to rewatch the movies. But, I mean... No, but there was a photo about this scene, right? This, and let's just pull that up. You know, this gets into an interesting philosophical argument because because I think they're in their teens. Like, again, they will call them minors, but when you hear the word minor, you think of like a 5 or 6 year old. I think they're like 16 and 17, and around that age, like, you start to get into, sort of lean into like adult stuff, and despite what people's ideology says, I mean, you can't what's the word I'm looking for? You can't legislate against human nature. You can't, shame human nature out of people, right? You can't repress it. I mean, you can try. And this was permeating throughout Twitter, and you had like the mob of people, like the exact same people who were fine with the bear sex and Baldur's Gate, fine with Steven Universe, look at this and be like, oh, but she's but a child. She's but a child. Even though she's, I'm pretty sure, 17. And it's like, well, I'm not the one being weird about this, right? She looked like this, and I was like, oh, that's hype. She has an ass, but at the same time, I was like 13. No, I was like 7, because I rewatched it when I was 13, when I used my mom's laptop. But anyway, and then there's this whole debate about, if you like anime, you're a pedophile. If you like old Western cartoons and this aesthetic, you're a pedophile, and all that. And it's just like, man, why do people gotta be weird about these things, I mean, this existed, but it's sort of just like icing on the cake, right? It's like, it's just not something you think about, you thought about, but you have these people whose entire ideology is to act like everybody else is some fucking maniac, and they need to legislate based on this, and they legitimately think these things and think it's normal. But at the end of the day, it's the censors, these people who are literally paid to censor and to remove things. And they justify their jobs. Like, again, the localizers in anime is a perfect example, right? Because they believe they're a entire class of people who thinks they knows better than, the Japanese, the people who make the thing that is anime is absolutely BTFOing Western entertainment nowadays, but these local Western localizers believe that they know better, and they actively change the dialogue, the localization, the translations. And the thing about Japanese language. It can be a little difficult, but I don't think the solution is to completely change it to this Western odd bullshit. And the same thing with art. Like, I don't believe art should change, characters should change. Like, they surgically removed her ass for no reason. Because this just looks weird, right? I look at this, I'm like, what is that supposed to be? But, I mean, anyway, and again, it's just a slight gripe. It's like when you see little changes, like, it's not the fact that the changes are done, it's the fact that we know why they made the changes. Like, there is an ideology that, you know, let's be honest, right? Let's speak candidly. Hates anything to do with male sexuality and the things that adolescent male sexuality appeals to. So, like, let's just quit acting like we don't understand. Like, I get it. Like, you have the, but what does he mean? Brigade coming out the word works, being like, but what do you mean? But it doesn't make, like, what do you mean? It's like, nah, I think you know what I mean, right? You know, unfortunately, there's a war on pixelated men, or I guess in this case, pixelated women. Like, you're not supposed to artistically portray women a certain way or in certain outfits that didn't exist when I grew up, but unfortunately, the same people who bullied you for liking anime or like playing games are the same people who are in these industries, and they hate that they have to deal with these industries. They hate that they're popular, then that they have to actually, you know, put in work to make it good. But and they don't really know how to be creative, but they do know ideology. They do know social justice. They do know how to poop their own Western morality into things. But unfortunately, they don't make money. Like, they don't create new IPs. They only subvert. They're like parasites. They only latch and suck on already existing IPs. And this is what happened to Star Wars. Like, I don't know a single person who's actually hype for Star Wars. They're just like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess it's still doing its thing. I mean, Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 came out, and I don't think I'm even really interested in watching it at all, because they can't help but to wear IPs like skin suits. It's like, once an IP gets popular, you have the parasites rolling in, right? Like a giant carcass, and the maggots crawl into it and feast upon it. And then, again, when the directors are done shitting on one IP, they move straight on to another. And I think that's probably what's going to happen to X-Men. Like, you have lack of creative directors coming in and rebooting the IP and putting it on Disney Plus, demanding you pay $9.99 for a shit product or a shit streaming service. And, you know, that's just the way it is nowadays. You know, that's the way things goes. But, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to watch this or not. I'm iffy. I am semi-interested, but unfortunately, I think anime is going to blow this out the fucking water. Like, I just finished watching that Oshinoko anime. It is pretty hype. I'm watching Solo Leveling, which is also hyped. And I'm even rewatching, what the fuck's that anime called? Blood Blockade Battlefront. Shit was hype. My friend told me about it, and I think it's probably one of my top 10. Which is odd, because I made an anime list, and I gotta make a whole video on this. My anime tier list. Like, I'm the type of guy that tier lists just esoteric things like TV shows, anime, games, movies, restaurants. It's who I am. You know, pixelated waifus. Hey, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Like, I'm a degenerate. What the fuck you want from me? Huh? But, that's all I gotta say about this. I went on a fucking tangent. I mean, it looks like X-Men. You know, it smells like X-Men. It feels like X-Men, but unfortunately, that's how the Skinwalkers do their thing. Like, they look like a thing, they talk like a thing, but they're not the thing. So, we'll see. We'll see when I'm done with my list of anime, that if I'll ever get on this or not. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Peace.
Xavier.
Fuck.
Together as a
Fuck.
team.
Come on, don't fuck me. Don't